Hey everybody, Gibbs here. Today I will be going over 9 players in the ESPN Top 50 to not draft in the first couple of rounds. Let's get started. Number 1, Jordy Nelson. Let's face it, Jordy's getting old. He's 6'3" and 32 years old. I don't want him to be done just yet because I love watching him play the game of football, but coming from a strictly fantasy perspective, he is not worth drafting. Sure, he had a fantastic bounce back year after missing all of the 2015 season with a knee injury, but he is 32 years old. It's more probable than not that he is going to slip and or get injured this season, and honestly, that's every fantasy owner's worst nightmare for a high draft pick. Number 2, Dez Bryant. We all know what kind of ability Dez Bryant has. When Dez is fully healthy, he's a top 4 or 5 receiver in this league. When he's healthy. To me, the jury is still out on Dak Prescott being the starting quarterback for the Cowboys, but it does look like he is developing that chemistry this offseason with star wideout. I'd only consider taking Dez if he somehow fell into rounds 4 through 6, but probably not any earlier. But that's just me. Number 3, Gronkowski. Gronk is in a similar but different position as Dez Bryant. No one can deny Gronk's skill and just purely freakish athletic ability. However, instead of being a top 4 or 5 at his position, Gronk is arguably the best tight end in the league. And there are really only 3 guys that can come close: Jordan Reed, Greg Olsen, Travis Kelce, and even they are a good distance behind him. We all know about Gronk's injury history, but he's not a guy that we can easily pass on. If Gronk can stay fully healthy for an entire season, he will put up historic numbers, so even with his injury risk, he's unlikely to fall below round 2. Number 4, Julian Edelman. As a Patriots fan, it truly hurts me to have both Gronk and Jules on this list of players I will not draft in 2017. Like Jordy, Edelman is on the wrong side of 30, and there's always a risk when you draft older skill players. Though Edelman is taking a page out of Tom Brady's book and treating his body like a temple, Edelman still runs routes up the middle that could one day deliver a huge blow. Let's also not forget the arsenal of weapons around him. The Patriots loaded up on running backs, specifically Rex Burkhead, who is a pass-catching back, and they extended James White, another pass-catching back. And we still have Dion Lewis, but we'll see what happens with him. And we also added Brandon Cooks as well. And Cooks will dominate the targets down the field, but will also take a large chunk of the ones across the middle. Despite this, I still think Edelman will be as good as he always has been, so I'd definitely consider taking him if he falls to the 6th round, but probably not. Number 5, Golden Tate. Unlike most of the guys on this list, Golden Tate does not have any kind of serious injury history. He's played all 16 games in each of the last 3 seasons, and only missing 6 games in his career. However, Golden Tate was awful last season, but then Tate had 91 catches for over 1,000 yards last year. That's true, but as anyone who owned him last season will tell you, he was awful. He had 3 games where he finished with over 100 yards, and he had 7 games where he had less than 50 yards. 7! And I know that this probably sounds like I have a grudge against him because of a bad fantasy year, but I didn't even own the guy in any leagues. The dude wasn't even successful with Matthew Stafford being considered an MVP candidate for most of the year. Take him after the 5th round if you want. Ridiculous. Number 6, AJ Green. You're probably thinking that I'm crazy for adding a guy like AJ Green to this list, but maybe it'll make sense after I explain. If you're a Bengals fan, you'll already know exactly what I'm talking about when I say that the Bengals are in trouble on the offensive side of the ball. And what I mean by that is that they have no offensive line. The Bengals let their 2 best linemen go in free agency, and they were already bad after giving up 41 sacks in 2016. Andy Dalton is a good quarterback, but now he is going to be forced to get the ball up faster, meaning that AJ Green is likely going to have to go across the middle more often. Big guys going across the middle is not ideal, and thus I fear for his safety. I still take him though if you feel the risk-reward ratio is good enough, and most of you probably will. Number 7, Alshon Jeffery. And we're back to the injury-prone players. Let's start with Alshon Jeffery, shall we? Not only is he injury-prone, but he's also stupid. The guy took PEDs and got suspended for 4 games last season, so that alone is a red flag to pass on the guy. Aside from that, we still don't know about Carson Wentz and how well he will play this season. After having a terrible second half of the year in 2016, don't know. And when the quarterback sucks, everybody sucks. That being said, Alshon is a giant red zone threat who, when healthy, will score loads of touchdowns a year. He's a freak athlete with bad hands and bad knees. Honestly, I don't care how far the dude drops, I'm not taking him, but for anyone else, I'd recommend taking a chance if he falls to round 4. Number 8, Keenan Allen. Like most guys on this list, Keenan Allen's injury history is what has me feeling uneasy about the idea of drafting him. Keenan Allen is one of the league's most gifted wide receivers. Unfortunately, he has missed like 41% of his NFL career due to injuries. If he can stay healthy, he is definitely worth the risk, but that's a big if at this point in his career. Like Alshon, I don't recommend taking him at all, but if you do, it's best to do it after round 3. Good luck, Keenan. I really hope you can do it. Number 9, Danny Woodhead. Lastly, we have Danny Woodhead. Before I start my explanation, can we just think about how Danny frickin' Woodhead is in the top 50 of the most standard ESPN drafts? Like, it boggles my mind. Anyway, back to business. Danny Woodhead is 32 years old and coming off of a torn ACL that forced him to miss 14 games last year. Just that alone makes me not want to draft him, but then you add that he's not even the starting running back. Though I like him better than Terrence West, he's just a pass catcher. And we don't know if Joe Flacco will start the season or how good he will be when he gets back. That normally wouldn't matter for a running back, but when you're primarily a pass catcher, your quarterback's health really matters. And that's going to be it for today's video, guys. Thank you for watching, and if you found this video entertaining or helpful, please leave a like and be sure to subscribe for future content. And please leave a comment down below if you agree or disagree with anything I said, or if you have any other people in the top 50 that you recommend not draft. See ya.